Today we're going to calculate the total average on our portfolio when we have unequal weighted stocks. So for example, we have 20% in Pepsi, we have 10% in Google, and we have 50% in Procter & Gamble. How much is our total return? And we're going to use a formula for that. But first we're going to import pandas, we're going to import yfinance, datetime, matplotlib, numpy, and seaborn. We need a start and end date, so here you can change to the dates you want. It's better to use maybe 2015 or something, so you will have more data. I'm using 20 because CRWD only went public in 2020, so or 2019 something. So I can't go further in time. That's the reason I'm using 2020. We're going to use a function, download function. We need to put single quotes here and one space, and then dot join the tickers, and we give in the array here start and end, and we only need the adjusted clause. We'll get the prices, make sure it's 2020 completed or whatever, how much stocks you have in this array. And here we have the prices. We're going to calculate the percentage average, and we're going to calculate the cumulative returns. So $1 in Albemarle is today $2.14. Now here we have the weights, and I have put in two arrays. One is with 5%, so I have 20 stocks. I allocated 5% for each stock. Here I changed the numbers a little bit so we can see the difference on the graph between the return of this portfolio and the return of this portfolio. So the formula is this one. It's weighted, the weight of the first stock multiplied by the mu of the first stock, and the mu of the first stock is actually the mean of the stock. And then we go plus the weight of the second stock multiplied by the mu of the second stock, and the mu again is the mean of the stock. So okay, if we have two stocks, that's okay, we can calculate that. But if we have 20 stocks, it's going to be a very long formula. So we want to simplify the formula, and it's going to be weight n, so n from the number of stocks we have in our array here, and mu n, so the number of stocks we have in our array. So how we're going to do that? We're going to use numpy, and the function is np dot, and we're going to take the cumulative returns, the mean, and we're going to do comma, and actually is going to multiply here with the weights. So here weights we're going to multiply with the 5% allocation. Here we're going to multiply with the changements that I did. So we're going to run that. Oh, let me check if I run this. So our first portfolio, we made 68% and 75. So 68, 75. The second portfolio is 52%. So actually it was a bad idea to change all those numbers. It was better to use just 5%. But anyway, we'll see further how we can adjust this and how we can get the maximum return from our portfolio. We're going to plot it on a graph. Yes, so to plot it on a graph, the only difference is we need to remove the mean here, because what the mean is going to do, it's going to calculate the mean over all those rows, and we don't really need that because otherwise we won't have our x and y points to plot the graph. So we will remove that to plot the graph. So we will wrap the data into a data frame, and we'll run that. And here we see that, I will check if this is correct, weights 2 B, and that's weights 2. Okay, so we see on average we had a lower return with our second portfolio, but right now it's outperforming our first portfolio. So the first 2 years it was a good choice to choose 5%. Right now the market is changing and it's getting better for us. So certain stocks that we allocated here are rising clearly. But we see that in fact we have a very high standard deviation. If you calculate, if you look at the low here and the high, is a very big difference. So we can expect a lot of volatility with that portfolio. Here we see the it's almost like stable. It's in that channel like. Here we have the high, here we have the low. We don't have really much volatility. So this is a more, it's a less risky portfolio. This point in time is probably somewhere in October 2022 when the tech stocks were starting to rise. So we have Google, we have Microsoft, we have CRWD. So it's probably going to be those three stocks that are outperforming the market and our portfolio is going up. They're also heavily volatile tech stocks. So, but we will check that maybe in a later video, which stocks really are causing that. So we can first start with calculating the correlation matrix. So we will get a matrix of 20 by 20 and we will see the correlation between the different stocks. So the diagonal will be the correlation with itself, so it will be 1. But here we will see the correlation between Albemarle and ASML, which is 0.36. Here we have a negative correlation, which is good news. We don't have any negative correlations. But a negative correlation, it means when this one goes up, this one goes down, and the other way around. So it's good practice to combine as much as forces that work against each other. It's not gonna be beneficial for your return, but it's gonna be beneficial for your risk. So you will be more sure of your return when you can manage your risk. So we can plot this on a heat map, and here we will see that. First time, maybe I will run this one again. We'll plot this on a heat map, and of course here it's white because it's diagonal. It's correlation with itself again, and all the dark spots are good news. It means that those stocks are very weakly correlated with each other. So we see that Coca-Cola is very weakly correlated with PRX. We see that Procter & Gamble is very weakly correlated with PRX and Pepsi. So this stock performed very bad the last 3 years, but it's uncorrelated with many other stocks. It wouldn't be a very good investment right now, but maybe that will change. So we can look further, PRX and Coca-Cola again. So yeah, you will have it 2 times. So you have Coca-Cola here in PRX because it's here we have the 20 by 20 matrix. So we have 2 times our values. We see that BHP is very black. So it's uncorrelated with all the other stocks. I don't know if it's because this is an Australian stock or if it's because it's a raw material stock. I don't really know. But the only thing I know is that it's very, very, very weakly correlated with other stocks. And here we have again BHP, and Coca-Cola is with CrowdStrike. It's uncorrelated with CrowdStrike. So actually all those stocks that are uncorrelated with each other are very good in our portfolio. The stocks we have to pay attention is the stocks who have a light color. Of course not those ones because it's just the diagonal. But this one, Google and Microsoft, they're heavily correlated. So maybe you can think about lowering one position and raising another position. So we can check the return of Microsoft and the return of Google. We do some fundamental checking, and we expect like 20% return for Google, and we expect 15% return for Microsoft. So we can lower our position in Microsoft a little bit, and we can raise our position in Google. The next one is Coca-Cola with Pepsi, which is obvious because it's the same drink, just Pepsi tastes better. And here we have Procter & Gamble related with Coca-Cola because it's a little bit the same industry. And here we have Pepsi and Procter & Gamble again. Here we have Pepsi, Coca-Cola. Here we have Microsoft, Google. So those are actually the only stocks that are heavily correlated with each other. So either you choose Google or you choose Microsoft, or you choose Pepsi or you choose Coca-Cola. So if we decided what we want to change, we can change the weights here. And maybe we can look at the return. So for example, we're doubting if we want to keep Pepsi or Coca-Cola. We can look at the return. Here we have 36%, here we have 38%. It's not a big difference. So then we can check the fundamentals, and maybe we have maybe we prefer Pepsi, so we can raise our position in Pepsi. We count the number here and we change it to here. Make sure that this sum is 1. So this should be 100%, this should be 1 always. If you're using 10 stocks, it should be 0.1, 0.1, 0.1 until 1. And we had another correlation between Microsoft and Google. So we will look at Google here, 75%, and Microsoft 54%. Okay, so maybe we have more confidence in Google, so we can raise our position in Google and lower it a little bit in Microsoft. And this is how we can change our portfolio. Then if we're going to run this code again and we're going to plot the graph again, we will see a different return, different graph. Okay, that's it for this video. In the other video, we will continue building on this.